For those of you joining today that have never heard of Real Reports, and for those of you joining today that have heard of Real Reports and maybe you even use it, the great news about today's session is it is a 101 session, and I am very confident that each and every one of you will get at least one thing out of today's call, regardless of your comfort level with the system as it exists today. So for quick introductions, everyone, my name is Dan McKeon. I am our VP of Customer Success at Real Reports. What we are going to do today, it will be pretty quick and to the point. We are going to stay about 30,000 foot view, and you'll see why at the very end. I have a quote and a call to action for all of you. But the whole point of today's class is really to just introduce you very, very high level to what is Real Reports. The first step in learning and actually leveraging a tool is simply understanding what it is. There's lots of different ways that you can use Real Reports. There's lots of different ways that our users leverage Real Reports. I say that because today's class is not for you to figure everything out about Real Reports. I will actually argue that if you try to do that today and we try to go very deep into a bunch of different topics, you'll be overwhelmed and you likely will not end up doing anything with the tool. So everything I'm going to walk through today is very intentional, and it will all lead with some very, very tactical recap and next steps. So we're going to walk through Real Reports. We're going to go through an actual demo so you can see a report live. I won't just talk the whole time, I promise. And then we will hop away with some very, very actionable next steps. If I play my cards right, you will all be out of here well before 2 o'clock with plenty of time to follow up with my next steps and get some real live action, live repetitions with our tool. So that is the agenda for today. I will ask if you can all remain on mute throughout. This will be a pretty fast session. We'll be touching around a lot of topics. I absolutely will open things up for Q&A. The most common question that we do get is around access and different tiers of the reports and things like that. So we can definitely open those up for the end of class. But for what I really want to get us through today is just understanding super, super high level what is Real Reports and showing you all how to access the tool. So without further ado, I am not checking chat at the moment, but if we do have any questions or anything like that, if you just want to throw them in chat, I will bounce over every now and again and try to answer some questions as I go along. So let's go ahead, buckle up, and hop right into Real Reports. So very, very quickly, team, before I talk about Real Reports, I like talking about our team. We are a small and mighty team. I share this with you just because all of us on this screen are or have been licensed and have worked our entire careers in the residential real estate and prop tech space. Personally, I started my career at a small company called Loop. I was employee number 6, and I used to do training sessions about electronic signatures and documents and e-signatures and e-storage of documents, and people thought it would never happen. I share all of this because it has happened, and I've spent my entire career training and working with people that solve real estate problems for real practitioners. There's a lot of new shiny objects that fly into this space and that I've seen fly into this space over the past 16, 17 years of being a practitioner in this space. I like to work with companies and with tools that solve real problems for real practitioners, and that's what we do at Real Reports. So whether you've been practicing for 2 decades or for 2 days, the one constant that I personally have seen throughout this industry is change. And that's especially true right now. We're in an increasingly competitive markets. Rates are going up, down, doing all kinds of crazy madness thing. Transaction counts are at historic lows. And overall, it's just harder and harder for agents to differentiate their value. And in today's market, we firmly believe that you either know the most or that you lose to someone who does. So our solution to that is Real Reports. I mentioned we're going to start with just what is Real Reports. The easiest way to think about Real Reports is it's an AI supercharged Carfax for homes. We provide comprehensive property data for every home in the United States. We aggregate data from 70 different providers. And then we leverage that data to power an entire ecosystem of tools specific for real estate practitioners, specific for you as real estate agents. Consumers can interact with some of these tools, but we are keeping you as an agent at the center of the transaction. And all of this ecosystem and this product suite of tools is powered by Aiden. So it's a very practical way to incorporate AI. Aiden, I'm going to talk about here in just a second, is our AI property copilot. So you might be thinking, data, 70 different providers. What kind of data do you have? This is not an exhaustive list, but this is a slightly more than a little representative list of the type of data that you can see within a real report. A lot of it is common things that you're used to seeing. However, I will argue that there's a lot of data in here that you've likely never stumbled across before. Things like proximity to an EV charging station, things like railroad noise, aviation noise, all these different map layers I'm going to show you here as we run through the tool. Our entire philosophy is that you never know which piece of data is going to hit home with a potential customer. So why not offer the entire ecosystem of data that's available in one high fidelity data set, and then allow the consumer or you as the practicing agent to leverage that data as you see fit. Now, how do you do that? Data is only valuable if you know what to do with it. Our simple, practical answer to that is Aiden. Aiden is your AI-powered property advisor. Aiden can do quite a bit of things, and honestly, you all are seeing how fast this AI space is growing. Aiden's capabilities are growing almost weekly. But first of all, it can answer any question pertaining to the report. It can actually look at and analyze photos. It can summarize things like inspection documents or lengthy HOA documents. It can generate repair estimates, and then it can even go outside of just the report data and conduct what we call deep research. And some of these features and functionalities are available in the highest tier of our reports, but I like showing everything that is possible within Aiden in its current state today. All tiers of Aiden will have fair housing trained. That is table stakes at this day and age. And we also know how you all are on the go constantly. So this is voice enabled, so you can actually talk and interact with Aiden, and it's multilingual. We do not believe that AI will be replacing agents. However, like a lot of technology, we believe that agents using AI are going to outcompete those who don't. So you might be thinking at this point, what are all the different ways that you could likely use RealReports? This is just some of the top use cases that we see realtors leveraging our tool and suite of products today. I'm going to touch very, very high level. As I mentioned when I started this call, I don't want to go through an entire product tour. We would be here for likely several hours. And the best thing that we can do here is get your mind thinking about all the different ways in your specific business that you could leverage RealReports, because that's the other thing with our tool is not every agent uses it the same way. Some of you may work heavily on the buy side, some heavily on the sell side. Some of you may be prospecting heavily right now, whereas some of you may be focused heavily on repeat and referral. So the way that you leverage our tools and our technology will be dependent on you all, your situation, and your business. So let's just walk through very, very quickly how some users can leverage the RealReport system to get value throughout each of these use cases. So first and foremost, it's a wonderful way to provide value to buyers and build credibility in today's day and age. Your consumers are already starting to get used to going to AI and asking random questions. Why not enforce yourself in that transaction, be the one they know, like, and trust. And oh, by the way, you can still interact and have them engage with the reports and leverage the AI capability. But again, it's a very practical way for them to leverage AI. You can invite clients into your account as well. So again, you can see and have that connectivity with the specific client. Same thing on the listing side. We see a lot of our users leverage this as a way to stand out in listing presentations. I shared a snippet to an AI podcast where one of our users mentions how he won a $6 million listing because of RealReports. He used it not only on the listing presentation to stand out and differentiate himself, but he followed up with a link to the report after, saw the clients engaging, interacting with Aiden, and he was able to promptly follow up with targeted tactical follow-up based on how they were interacting with the report. The clients were blown away. They moved forward. The rest is history. My point in saying all of this is it's a way to differentiate yourself, and that's how we're seeing people lean into leveraging RealReports. We also have lead functionality, lead generation functionality, where you can actually activate both a QR code and first name, last name, email functionality, such that anytime somebody scans the QR code or interacts with a Real Report, we actually gather their information and we track all of that activity back to your lead dashboard. So you can see specifically what people are doing on your reports that you've shared with them. And then finally, from a risk mitigation standpoint, it's a wonderful way to prevent buyer's remorse and protect sellers. You all have been in situations and things are getting more and more litigious as we speak. Why not have a log? Why not have an environment where you can store everything, interact with Aiden, have one environment where you and your clients are interacting? And that goes same thing to streamlining research. A lot of our users, the primary way that they leverage Real Reports to start is just by running snapshots. On any normal activity where they would start working and doing diligence on a property, they simply start at Real Reports and run the free snapshot on that particular property. That's how I would almost urge all of you to start using the platform. And that is how we will start as far as our next steps go here in just a few minutes when we conclude. So as you can see, it is one product, but there truly are endless ways that users get value from our tool, both top of funnel, all the way through listing and buyer presentations, through staying top of 9 with post-client nurture. So one tool, but endless value. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break here and jump over and actually show you how easy it is to not only generate a report, but navigate through the different sections of the report and interact with Aiden, your AI co-pilot. So I haven't seen any questions or anything come through just quite yet. I'll pause for just a second here. All right, I'm not, oh, here we go, hop over. Perfect. A couple AI assistants. Fantastic. All right, I'm now going to jump over and we're going to go live and see what the Real Reports dashboard looks like for you all. All right, so I just went ahead and shared screen. The screen I'm on now is called your Real Reports dashboard. So each of you all, as a benefit of being with Coldwell Banker Premier, you have a Real Reports subscription. And that's going to allow you to run unlimited snapshot reports. It's also going to provide discounts on our higher tiered reports, which I'm going to show you here in just 1 second. So the first thing that you'll do is simply come right here to the address bar, front and center, and you'll type in the address of the report that you of the property that you would like to run. So here I could type in 356 Lineberry Road. You'll go ahead and select that address, and that's going to populate snapshot, and then you'll see these discounted rates on the buyer and the seller tiers of the reports. I am not going to spend too much time on the buyer and seller tier reports today. First, because I would like you all to start with snapshots, which is the free included version in your subscription. But secondly, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be updating the system and we will be consolidating these higher tiers of the reports. So I don't want to spend too much time training on something that's ultimately going to be changing. So I'm going to be walking you through what will remain consistent, and that's the snapshot flow. So you'll go ahead and just click snapshot there, and then you'd click continue. Now, there's a couple other ways that you can look up a specific property. If you have the parcel number, you can search by APN. You can also search by MLS ID, or you could look up the parcel on a map. Once you generate your snapshot, this is what the Real Report is going to look like. Over here on the left-hand side, it's going to organize all of the different sections that are available within your snapshot. You'll see as I scroll a little lower, that's going to tell me that these sections are not available in this version, and I would have to upgrade in order to receive these sections of the report. We do have some specific training and use cases on why and when users upgrade. But again, today I want to focus on what's included and what's free of charge, and that's the snapshot version. So we'll scroll through here. If you click on any of these sections, it's instantly going to shoot you down to that section of the report. I can continue scrolling, and you'll notice docked here on the right-hand side is Aiden. Hi, I'm Aiden, your AI real estate co-pilot. So I can simply ask quickly, well, show me some interesting things about this property. And instantly, Aiden is going to analyze every piece of data that we've been able to compile on this report, and it's going to respond with some interesting facts about the property. While it's thinking, I'm going to continue scrolling down, and I want to show you one of my favorite components of the tool, and that is specifically these map layers. This is one moment that I can tell you my parents recently moved across country and now live on the East Coast near me in good old Delaware. This was one of my dad's favorite components of the Real Report, were the map layers. He came in here and spent quite a bit of time playing around with all of the different map layers. So you can see I'm on the cell tower section here because I'm on the connectivity section. But as I scroll to other sections, it will update and it will zoom to correlate with that specific section of the report. And one of my favorite sections here is aviation noise. So I can go ahead and activate this, and it's going to show me some of the noise that's correlated to this particular property. So it looks like you've got Naval Air Station Oceana nearby. So yeah, there's some aviation noise. We could go ahead and see what's the rail noise situation looking like. What's the road situation looking like as far as noise goes? There's public housing, there's nearby schools. So you can see there's so much rich data that's included within not only the higher tiers of the report, but just the free snapshot version of this report. So I want to come back up here, check on Aiden a little bit. Here are 3 concise, interesting facts about this property. Fact, estimated market value. Fact, fact. So you can see I can have a whole conversation here. We could crack into more of one of these specific facts, or I could ask what's going on with the weather more recently. I know it's been crazy up here in Delaware. So you can see this is a great way to incorporate AI. It doesn't have to be scary. It's your co-pilot right alongside of you here to help you analyze and research this particular property. At the top of the report, you'll see a branding section. One of the first things we ask all of our users to do is update their branding section, which is located underneath my account section. But that's going to pull in your name, company logo. You might have a website you want to link out to, reviews. Maybe you have a social media presence. All of this is going to pull specifically from that account section. And then up here in the upper part of the report, this is how users interact with the reports to get it shared out with customers. Or maybe we still have a lot of users that want to print the summary, perhaps. So a couple house cleaning items up at the top. Share. This is how you can get this Real Report in the hands of others. And there's multiple ways to do so. You can copy the link. You can send an email. You can download a QR code. One of the use cases specifically that people upgrade for is they leverage our QR code, and on open houses, they turn on lead capture. So they say this open house is powered by Aiden. And as users come through, as consumers come through, they have to scan, they have to sign in, and then they get the report, but you actually have a log of who came to the open house and what they're doing with regards to the report after the fact. You can also text message the report to folks. You can share it on social media. Here's that lead capture functionality I'm talking about. And you can see, guys, we're very transparent. If you do not have the ability to use that and you need to upgrade, we'll tell you why, and we'll tell you that you need to. So lead capture is part of the higher tiers of the report. And then lastly, maybe you're done working on the report and you don't want to share it with anyone anymore. You can go ahead and turn that off and deactivate it. You can also, as I mentioned, you can print the report. So I'll click the print icon. We have the summary sections. If you want to remove a specific section, you could do so, and you could print that off. We also have the full individual report sections. If you do want to get more granular in one specific section, we always joke internally, make sure you are near a printer or something with full ink and toner, because these sections can get quite lengthy. The full Real Report can get quite cumbersome with regards to number of pages. And then last, but certainly not least, we have our 3 icons right here. And I just want to share with the group, we use this throughout our tool. This is our way of saying more options. So if you ever see this kind of 3 dots next to each other, go ahead and click on that. That's just going to give you more additional options. So as we get more functionality, we usually place it underneath there, just FYI. And what I want to call out specifically is our order and our visibility section. So we understand real estate's local. As I mentioned earlier, each one of you are likely practicing in a slightly different way. So who are we to say the order that you want this in? Or who are we to say the sections that you want included? I had a call literally this morning with somebody that goes, oh, I despise that I have to do this each time. I download it, I print it, and I take out that section. I showed her how you can actually go in and you can hide these sections. And she goes, oh my goodness, this call is worth all of the time in the world. So literally, folks, you can come in. If there's any section you don't want to include, you can just click on the eyeball, and that's going to remove that section from view. So instantly, if you don't want this section to show up, you can click it. It's going to reshuffle it. It's going to hide it. The next thing is maybe you want to lead with the documents section where you can actually drag and drop and you can place that up top. Maybe I don't want schools anywhere near that. I want it to be all the way at the bottom. I can go ahead and drag that all the way down. You can configure this report to match exactly what you want because this is your real report. If somebody else ran a real report on this address, that's going to be their version of the real report. This is your version. So you can customize it however you see fit. And the last thing we want you to do is if you want to hide this section, we don't want you to have to do it every time. So you can actually come into your global account settings and you could go ahead and say, I never want to share crime data. Okay. And I'm going to apply to every single section. And now that's going to go ahead and remove crime data from every report that you run moving forward. If you want to turn it on, you can, but we're going to default it to off so that you don't have to every single time. Okay, I'm going to look over at questions real quick. Looks like we're still doing great. I do want to hop over just briefly and share with you, this is a full seller report. How do I know that? I know that because right here up at the top, it's going to tell me what type of report I'm on. It's also going to tell me the date that I created it. You can see I've already done some interaction with Aiden. It's going to have just more sections, guys. It's going to have more sections in the report. And the one piece that I wanted to show you is I could come down here, and I mentioned earlier how I can upload, an inspection document. So I just wanted to show you in real time how I can come and maybe I have an inspection document on a property. I could go ahead and load that. And this does take a little bit of time, but just think about how much time you're spending today researching these large 10, 20, 30-page documents. You now have a tool at our higher tiers. This is something you've got to upgrade in order to leverage. But at our higher tiers, you now have a tool where you can actually upload these specific documents, interact with them, and actually have a repository where everything is living. So you can see here, I just loaded that. It's going to do some AI analysis. We have this repair estimate built directly in. So maybe you're in a time crunch and you need to get some estimates turned around. We have a partnership with a company called Clear Estimates where they'll actually look at that specific document you uploaded, and they'll actually down to potentially in our higher tiers up to the nut and bolt give you recommended costs. So lots of functionality available and lives within some of these higher tiers. But again, we will be consolidating this in the coming weeks, so I don't want to spend too much time there. So that concludes our demo. I want to end briefly here, unless I see any questions start to come through here. I've got just a few minutes. I want to talk through your all's benefits specifically as Coldwell Banker Premier agents because they are vast and you do receive quite a few things. We also have one of our newest offerings. It's called Pulse. You all have 5 client invites to that. So we are a little ahead of schedule. So I want to spend just a minute or two showing you where that's located, because some of you may just want to leverage that. So I want to go ahead now, briefly report tiers. The easiest way to think about them today is good, better, best. The seller report is going to have all of the data and functionality. The snapshot are going to have the sections that I went through during the live presentation, where we walked through school district information, property characteristics, etc. As far as what you all receive as being associated with Coldwell Banker, well, each of you receives a free Real Report subscription. So we partner with both brokerages and MLSs across the United States. And we do have plenty of people whose brokerage and their MLS do not provide Real Reports. And those people pay $120 annually. What does that get you? Well, that gets you unlimited snapshot reports. So the one thing that I recommend, and I'm going to incentivize all of you to do following this presentation, is run a snapshot of your own, because you do receive truly unlimited. It's a great place to start your diligence process. You also do receive discounts on the higher tiers of our reports. All of your reports will be branded Coldwell Banker Premier, and you get access to our premium features, which is, as I showed, the AI document analysis, the ability to upload those documents, have them analyzed, the ability to interact with clients, etc. And lastly, our newest offering is called Pulse. You all receive 5 free invites to Pulse. So you may be asking, well, what is Pulse? You may all be familiar with a tool that delivers, a monthly touch point to your clients that shows them how much their home is worth or what's the equity in their home. Well, naturally, through the high fidelity data set that is the Real Reports data set, we have a lot of that information as well. So our users were like, hey, could we come up with a Real Report that we deliver directly to our clients? And the answer is yes. And that answer is Pulse. So now our users have the ability to invite both past clients, and we do have some users that have started using it from a prospecting angle, but you can actually invite someone into Real Reports so that they will receive on a monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual basis, they'll actually receive an email direct to their inbox that shows what's their home worth, shows the equity that they have, and it also has the remaining detailed sections of the Real Report that they may already be accustomed to. So the first 5 of those invitations are free. So I strongly encourage all of you to go in, add yourself, add a partner, add a friend. You get up to 5. It's a great way to see what the tool looks like. These reports are delivered on the 1st of the month. So if you add people right now, they'll simply get an invitation email saying, hey, you've been added to Pulse. You're going to be receiving insights on your property. So getting started, as Debbie mentioned, this is how we kick things off. Every one of our partners accesses our tools a little bit differently. So my understanding from your team is that you all leverage us via MoxieWorks. So when you access Moxie, you'll actually click on your profile and you'll select external links. And underneath external links, there is a link to Real Reports. Now, that should bring you directly into your account. If you haven't created an account, you'll just click Create Account, and that'll allow you to fill out your information. I just want you all to take down this email right here, support@realreports.ai. If you have any issues at all getting into the system, that is a 1-second fix on our side, because if nothing else, I can just give you a direct link to your profile and let you set up your own password. So I would love for you to use, if you have SSO, a single sign-on and everything already coordinated, that's great. And I see Steven jumping in as well.
Yeah. Are we still working on the SSO on the hub?
Back office.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's the other thing that absolutely, Stephen. And that was the other thing I was alluding to as well, is we can get you into the system quick. One of the things that we've been working on, and I've been chatting with Stephen and the team about, is through a new tool that you all rolled out in just the last couple of months. We're going to try to put a big Real Reports icon right there. So you can just click that and it'll shoot you right over into our tool. So what can you expect from us? Well, we're a small but mighty team. So you will get fast and responsive support. I shared support@realreports.ai. When I say we rapidly build new features, I mean weekly. We are rolling out new data sources, new filters within some of our prospecting tools. It truly is mind-blowing how quickly our team reacts to not only user feedback, but our partner feedback and our vendors as well, because their capabilities are growing as well with each passing week. So we want to make sure that we innovate and stay top of mind. We are honestly doing trainings almost weekly at this point, but the big ones that we do monthly are usually on the first Wednesday of the month. This next one coming up will be on May 6th, and it's going to be all about some of the new upcoming Real Report changes that I already alluded to on this call, where we'll be consolidating some of our report tiers, as well as a few other exciting changes. So please don't hesitate to join us on that. And then, as Debbie mentioned when we started, they're working on kind of a repository where they can keep everything. We have the exact same thing on our side. We call it our education hub. So this is our home base where we store everything from past trainings like this to specific use case deep dives. There's truly limitless content in there that you can get lost and have a lot of fun learning about all that our tool has to offer. This is one of my favorite quotes. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So you'll probably forget a lot of what I've been blabbering about today. You may remember some of these slides, but the best way to learn our tool truly is by doing. So I have a challenge for each of you on the call today. I'd like for you all, by the end of the week, if you can just access your Real Reports account, run a snapshot report, email me, Dan@RealReports.ai. Please use the right subject because I am going to be filtering these. So subject, I ran a Real Report, and then just message me the use case you're most excited about as you start your Real Reports journey. If you do those steps, I will go ahead and throw 2 credits into your account. Those will be good for you to upgrade to one of our higher tier reports so you can actually see what those higher tiers have to offer free of charge. Basically, it's a risk-free upgrade for those of you interested. All you have to do is jump into the tool. As I mentioned today, I'm not going to keep us all the way till 2. I only had about 30 minutes of content, so I am at the end of my presentation, barring any questions here. So I urge all of you to use some of the time back that we get here to access your Real Reports account. Give the system a whirl, run a report, and shoot me an email. I will make sure and get you your complimentary credits so you can see more about what the system has to offer. Last, certainly not least, I realized I did not show you Pulse, so I did just want to take 10 seconds here. I'm back to my dashboard. Pulse is here on the left-hand side. This is going to take you to your Pulse dashboard. So you can see here, I've got some activity because I've been using the tool. But if you scroll down right here, My Clients, this is where you all will be able to add yourself, spouse, partner, whoever it may be. Every one of you gets up to 5 of these for free. So I urge all of you, just for fun, to go ahead and add somebody into Pulse to see what this system is all about. I cannot add any more because I am currently using all of my freebies up. So that is it for me. I will now take a breath. Any questions or anything in closing?
Dan, if we can just jump to the chat for a minute. One of the questions came in from Don Reed. Can we access Real Reports directly, or do we always need to go through MoxieWorks? I believe you covered that, saying, yes, we need to go through Moxie initially, but then you can...
So there's multiple ways to access the tool. If you have an account now, Don, I would go through Moxie, click that external link. If you want to just log directly into RealReports.ai, you 100% can. If you don't know your password, you can just go there right now and click Forgot Password, and that'll walk you through the flow. Or if you ping us at support, I can send you a link that'll bring you directly in. So the short answer is there's multiple ways to get into the tool. You won't always have to go through Moxie.
Great, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Another was, will you say the email addresses again? So maybe if you put yours and the support into the chat, that would help everybody.
There's support. Oh my goodness. I almost said Dan at support at Real Reports. Dan at RealReports.ai. So there's support and there's me. Perfect.
All right. The next question is, if you upgrade, is it a monthly fee for upgrading, or you do that per report?
Such a wonderful question, Catherine. And I am struggling on the best way to answer this because there's an answer on how it will work for 2 more weeks. And then there's an answer on how it will move forward in May. So the short answer to your question is you can upgrade by report. That is how we intend people to use the tool. We understand real estate's cyclical. You might have a listing appointment coming up. You want to upgrade to the seller report. We totally get it. So you can upgrade per report. There's no monthly obligation because you already have the free report subscription via Coldwell. So that's how it exists today. That's how it will exist post May 4th as well. What will be changing is how people subscribe. Because the next logical question people have is, well, what if I'm running a bunch of reports or I'm spending a decent, $30, $40 a month in Real Reports? Do you have any subscription options? And the answer is yes. And the way it works today is you subscribe to what are called credits. That's all I'm going to say because they're going away. And what we're going to be moving forward and moving to is, let's say you spend $20 a month in Real Reports. You can actually subscribe to our platform and say, I want to put $20 in Real Reports dollars into my account each month. And what we'll do is for our subscribers, we'll give you a match bonus. So we'll give you like 5 bonus dollars if you subscribe to 20 or 10 if you subscribe to 40. We're working out the rates right now. But the whole point is you subscribe and you'll save. So we'll incentivize people who are recurring spenders within our ecosystem. Catherine, clap. That makes me happy. It's so much easier to explain than credits. So short answer, you can totally go as you see fit. If you see yourself using the tool quite a bit, we'll have a subscription option that'll make it cheaper to use for you. And the great news is nothing will be expiring month over month. So there will be rollovers. Awesome.
All right. Any other questions for Dan?
Debbie, Stephen, thank you for the opportunity. Truly, this was fantastic. I really appreciate you guys having me. And thank you all for spending some time learning a little bit more about Real Reports.
Well, Dan, we thank you and your time and your effort put into this. So for all of you on this meeting, the managers, we all, through the prompting of a couple of our new managers, said we really needed to do some training on these tools and resources. So we have now for seven classes scheduled between now, I guess it's 9, between now and mid-June. We're going to concentrate on the seller services up front. Then we're going to take the summer off. We'll be back mid-September, and I will ask Dan to come back probably September, October for like a 201 class. So this was the introductory. If you were like me, it's like, how do I even get logged on? So we now know we go through MoxieWorks. You click on your profile and scroll down to external links and then click on Real Reports. It's very, very simple. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions or if you have anything that you would like to recommend, any topic that you would like more information on. We want this to be all about you, the agents, and how we can help you grow your business, know how to use all the vast tools and resources we have, and in turn, we all work together. So I'm Debbie O'Connell. I'm the Hampton Roads, Virginia Regional Manager, and I'm also the Virginia Beach Managing Broker. I'm part of this incredible management team that Coldwell Banker Premier has put in place. So if there's anything you need, please reach out to any of us, and I'm welcome and open to any suggestions you have. So thanks so much. We appreciate you being here. Dan, thank you. Stephen, of course, thanks for your support. And to all my fellow managers, you guys are awesome. And you agents, here, let's just give all the kudos to the agents because without them,